So hello, this is AG, and I just wanted to do a quick video, not really about anime, but mostly um about some of my thoughts that's been going around lately. Uh, I'm taking a little break from anime, which is kind of sad because I gotta focus on landing this new job I'm trying to get. So hopefully I do that, and hopefully the anime stuff comes back. But the hair's just terrible right now. So I only recently cut it. Um, but the thing I wanted to talk about overall is there's been a lot of upset and there's been a lot of anger being thrown back and around. And some people that aren't really in that bubble are kind of looking at it from the outside going, okay, I sort of get it, but here, let me sort of explain. 1 second. Um, okay, I'm back. Have to go grab some tissues. So, a big thing about the games industry as a whole is a need to validate pre-order sales. And I understand the appeal to pre-ordering, where you're basically putting your name down saying, hey, I'm going to be the first person to get this game. I'm going to be the first person to play this before any reviews are out because I know how good this thing is. And I just don't like that. I do not like, especially when they take content out of the game to sell it as a pre-order, meaning that you'll never be able to get that stuff. And sometimes they do release that sort of thing again later down the line, or even in a better case, they're giving you something that you shouldn't have that early into the game, which you can just unlock naturally afterwards. One of the best examples is Dark Souls 2 selling New Game Plus, giving you New Game Plus items at the beginning of the game that you might not be able to use, but are at least really cool looking until you go into New Game Plus, and it's like, oh hey, there they are. And or Dragon Ball Fighter Z, in which you get these two really good characters to start off the game, or you cannot pre-order the game, go through the entire story mode, and then unlock them, which a lot of people find is slightly better. In those circumstances, because it feels like that they are giving you something that you could normally just get in the game. Some of these examples could be like you pre-order the game and you get a few in-game currency type stuff. It doesn't matter really what it is. It could literally be like, hey, here are some upgrades that you can get really early into the game and work with that. Oh, my nose. Sorry about that. But there has been recent controversy around two games in particular. And I want to talk about one before I talk about the other one because I think I'm going to need to talk about that one a little bit more. People have been sort of on the fence about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for a very long time. I kind of like the game. I kind of like the way it looks, and I kind of like the way that it plays. The problem that people have is that it's not a traditional game. Then again, I've been playing non-traditional Pokemon games since the N64 with Pokemon Snap, and I've been playing the Mystery Dungeon games. I've been playing one of my more favorite games right now, Pokemon Quest, because we literally have nothing else Pokemon to do right now. But when you really look at it and you look at, quote, the hardcore game of the mainline series, you're talking about a game in which you battle and capture Pokemon, take them to gyms, defeat the challenge at the gym, whether it be physical or puzzle or both, and you're going through, and once you beat all those, you go to the Elite Four, and you win, usually culminating in a rifle battle. This hasn't changed for any of the games in the series, but there is one thing that is changing about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and that is the fact that you don't battle the Pokemon before you capture them. Still battle trainers, still battle gyms, you still go to the Elite Four most likely, you still, I would like to think that you still fight your rival, but the rival feels more like a less passive-aggressive friend than normal. And you have this situation where a lot of people are just not liking it. It's like, you have overworld sprites, and the Pokemon follow you. Yeah, but you don't battle anymore. You can actually see the Pokemon, and you can see that they have good, or you can see that they have out of the normal stats from the overworld, and you could try to go for them. You can even see shiny Pokemon in the wild. Yeah, but there's no Pokemon battles. You can literally refight Pokemon trainers, or at least what it looks like, and collect not only money but Pokeballs from them. You could also get daily money, and you could just get Pokeballs that way. To the fact where modern games, you could literally buy max Pokeballs from the start of the game. And the only reason why they give you that much money is because you want to probably purchase customization options for your characters, which has been a big thing lately. So, you have this situation where you have unlimited Pokeballs, essentially. You could go out and you could catch them in the Pokemon Go style. You could see stats. You could even see when the EVs are being added to the character, which is inherent. I forget what the E stands for, but there are values to be added to the Pokemon based on who you are fighting, which honestly is which is a really neat way of doing it. But nah, it just doesn't have Pokemon battles, so it's instantly going to be bad. But I say, Pokemon Sun and Moon took out gym battles, or at least how we know of gym battles. Now they are these almost puzzle-like environments that you go and then you fight this really powerful wild Pokemon. And that's it. And so you have this situation where they have things that people have been really wanting, but because there's no wild battles, they're getting all uppity about it. Again, sorry about my nose. So you have, I don't want to repeat myself, but you then look at the pre-order sales on, let's just say Amazon, in which they're in the 50s, the 60s for some of them, but a few people have actually correctly pointed this out. There are 5 Let's Go, Pokemon Let's Go products on Amazon alone. You have Pikachu, you have Eevee, you have both of them with Pokeball Pluses, and then you have a combined one which has both games and a Pokeball Plus. Those 5 products all equally share around the 50 range, and if you add all of them up, it doesn't become the bestseller, but it's at least in the top 20, and that's good. It's going to be a well-selling game, and this leads to something distinct. Sales of pre-orders do not mean one-for-one the exact sales that are going to be for the game. Oh, look, Battlefield 5 has waning sales. It doesn't mean that it's going to have waning people play it. It's just people are hesitant. They're holding back. They want to see what the reviews are. They want to see how the game is. Because maybe there's something in the game that they don't like, and they want to see if it inadvertently changes how the game is. So they're waiting. Pre-order sales for almost all games went down once Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was able to be bought on Amazon recently, So like all the games would have went dunk because it's now the third highest selling thing of all time on Amazon, and you're sitting there, or at least I'm sitting there, and I'm seeing this is just pre-order culture shifting, and I honestly would like to see a world in which no game has pre-orders. Uh, Boogie recently did a video, and I kind of skimmed through it a little bit. I didn't want to actually watch the whole thing to cloud my own opinions out of it, because I've been sitting here and I've been watching Angry Joe get upset at, like, it could be any other thing than pre-order culture of the reason why. But I honestly feel like that people are more likely able to, people want to pre-order one game for them to play for the next 60 days. Some people want to play Call of Duty because they like shooters. Some people want Red Dead Redemption because they want that Rockstar experience. People are pre-ordering Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee because they really like Pokemon games. People are into fighting games, or at least that particular fighting game, so they pre-order it. So we get to the point where we talk about Battlefield 5. Is the numbers low? Yes. Is it believable? Yes. It's stuck in between two other really well-selling games, just like Titanfall 2, that, a lot of people have probably been saying, um, in which Battlefield 5 is in a very disadvantaged situation. They're either going to be purchasing Call of Duty first, in which both games are shooters, both are going to have big maps, both are going to have a Battle Royale style game mode to them, but they're mostly unchanged from the last few versions. Call of Duty going back to its roots and not having jetpacks, which is very nice because because the mobility kind of hurt the game a little, ironically. Um, and Battlefield 5 has more fortification stuff because it's more of Call of Duty is more for single player experience, and Battlefield 5 is for multiplayer experience. But there's a lot of things to dislike about Battlefield 5. I'm not even talking about the fact that they prominently show a woman on the cover. I kind of want to see where the story's going, because if it really is about this, what appears to be Russian sniper woman who gets her arm removed but still wants to fight, sure. It seems very unrealistic, but there were women that actually fought in World War II. That is an important thing to remember. Um, but there is also I want to say there's also a different charge into this, where it's like, why is a woman who has an arm removed not immediately removed from battle? Why is this American soldier wielding a katana? Why does it feel like that no one is following, like, military procedure? Why is it that all the set pieces are so bombastic and explosive? And I just say that that's how Battlefield is. Battlefield has always been the type of game to be outlandish. They have never, never been historically accurate. And it's kind of weird to say, especially how they had Bad Company 2, which is probably one of my favorite shooters of that generation. I don't want to say of all time because it's not my favorite shooter of all time. But it was one of the better ones when it came to story and gameplay. Maybe I have to give Bad Company 1, but I really like the story of the Bad Company series. And what's funny is that I'm looking at this game, and I know that Battlefield games notoriously have bad story mode. I don't really like shooters that much. They are focusing more on this Battle Royale mode, which inherently I just don't like. I don't like really big multiplayer experiences where you just get lost in the map. So I'm probably not going to purchase it. But it doesn't mean that I'm shifting my pre-order away because there's a woman on the cover. Because I just don't like the gameplay. And And it's not because I'm gonna put that immediately into Red Dead Redemption. Didn't really like Red Dead 1. I know that's sort of a controversial thing to say because everyone liked Red Dead 1, but I just didn't like it. I much preferred. I don't know what Rockstar game I preferred. I played a lot of the online for uh, GTA 5, but that was when it first came out, and I'm kind of regretting even purchasing it. Maybe it's because I just don't like Red Dead game. I don't like Rockstar games. Maybe that's just me. Um, I feel that the sandbox environment isn't really suited for that sort of. What I'm trying to say is that I much prefer a game that has a lot of ludicrous action than realistic action. Which is actually kind of funny because I'm talking about how Battlefield 5 isn't realistic, but I just don't care. If it doesn't want to be historically accurate, that's fine. But while also saying it is historically accurate when it comes to the story, really doesn't mesh well. And insulting your audience doesn't do as well. And notice I've talked about that, and not a single thing that I talk about social justice, because it's not important. Social justice is not important to the actual debate. What is, though, is pre-orders. All of that was a reason not to pre-order the game until I've actually seen it. It could be the greatest game of all time, and I might waver going, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Here are my $60. I'm going to purchase this. I could do that. It's highly unlikely, but I could do that. But I don't pre-order the game. And the reason why is because I want YouTubers that I watch to basically rip the game apart and going, okay, this game wasn't so good. Or reviews that come out saying, they kind of misled the audience, and this is why you shouldn't purchase it. You could go through a game, play it for 20 hours, realize it's not that good of a game, and then kind of sit back going, well, this purchase was wasted. I got all hyped up and I pre-ordered the game for nothing. And I hate that. The only game that I have actually pre-ordered, ironically, is a game I didn't actually purchase. I put money down for Watch Dogs. Um, I actually do kind of like Watch Dogs. No, Watch Dogs 2, not so much. I kind of still kind of like that gameplay where you're kind of hacking everything. The I just happen to not be able to purchase it. So it goes to show you that not even having a pre-order down means you're inherently going to purchase the game. But it also means that the pre-orders themselves aren't inherently the exact amount that people are going to purchase. There were a lot of people that buy the game afterwards. There were people that were holding back on God of War, on the new God of War game, specifically because they weren't sure if it was going to be the exact same God of War as before, or if it was going to divulge it and everything. I did not like God of War. There was far too much. I want to say teenage angst in the game. We really need to the fact that you have these games that are over there. I oh it's this. It's the microphone. Um, there were people that just weren't sure if the game was going to go in the same direction with all the teenage angst of anger. Let's have sex. Anger. It's like okay, you hold off, Kratos. We don't. I don't really need to play this game because if that's all that's going to be, then I'm out. Boss battles were actually kind of cool in retrospect, but I just didn't like the gameplay. I have rented from the red box down the street God of War, the new one, 3 times because I haven't been able to purchase it, and I've just been like, I'll just rent it for a day and try to get a little bit further into the game. And just to like how far I am, I'm like a good like 2/3 of the way through the game just from that. And the amount of times that I have um, rented the game, like the next time that I rent it, I probably would instead just purchase the game full rate. Same thing with Monster Hunter World. I didn't think I would like either of those games until I actually watched people play it, till I saw the reviews of it, and I actually got my hands on it through a rental to play it. And I did not need to pre-order the game to have those sort of experiences. If I pre-ordered the game, and even if I liked the game, there was a chance that I could feel bad about pre-ordering it. And mesh that all into, you know, the feeling that I don't really want to pre-order a game too soon with you must pre-order to have all of this exclusive content. Yeah, it just doesn't mesh well. And it's why I feel happy that there are games that are just losing pre-order sales while actual good games are rising. There have been, over the past, 10 months, several games that get awards for, this is the greatest selling of all time, this is one of the highest reviewed of the series, and all these sort of things. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's good. That is very good for the games industry to have games that I want to play and purchase that I didn't want to pre-order. And I acknowledge this about and I will link to several other people about this subject. I'll even link to Angry Joe, so you can see his ranty point of view if you really want to get upset at him. But um, but overall, I wish that pre-orders would die. Boogie put this best, where it's like, I would want a world in which no game gets pre-orders, and that is the important truth. Pre-orders need to die, and this is, I don't want to say the first step towards it, because those pre-orders are probably going towards another game, but if a great game has low pre-order sales, maybe it will incentivize people to not pre-order a game, or games that are on the fence, like Pokemon Let's Go, that suddenly spike up with sales, even though it had really low pre-order numbers. All of this comes to what I decided to boot up my computer and make this video about. It does kind of feel like that when it comes to video games, at least. I would rather wait and see what the game is actually like before ordering it. I'm just now putting down money to get several games. I need to actually have a list of games that I am looking forward to or gonna try to get. Maybe move my whiteboard like off the wall and maybe right there to show games that I'm planning on getting. Who knows? But either way, when it comes to video games, I urge people not to pre-order them. Sure, you could download them if you're getting them digitally, so it can be instantly available when the clock hits. Sure. Maybe people want that collector's edition and they really want to reserve their place for it. Sure. But it just hurts. It hurts games to pre-order them. And this has been shown from games that take entire missions out of the game that were very well written and sometimes even had its own independent achievements just for that. Like what happened with LA Noire, removed from the game and thrown as pre-order content. Sure, you could download them later, which thankfully LA Noire was one of those things to do that, but it just feels wrong to slice up a game and then say, this content is going to be for the people that gave us money first without even trying to play the game. What if it turns out that that game is bad? What happens when those are all the sales? And it does kind of feel like that they are trying to make up lost revenue as much as they can, which kind of feels dirty. And it feels dirty if it's EA doing it, whether it's any sort of game doing it. It's why you don't usually see Nintendo games have this sort of weirder mentality, which I need to go into that in another video. Why I've been sort of gravitating towards Nintendo games a lot, but um, but anyway, if anyone wants to comment about it and like say what their opinion is, let me know, because I actually kind of want to read people's responses, and I want to read what other people's opinions are, because I want to be informed. I want to know what other people think. So hopefully I'll start making other content again in a while. Um, hopefully I can make more videos and show it to you. I had another video in the works. I might upload it. I still don't know a good title for it. Um, but either way, see you guys next time.